So what's really nice about this one mode where your rev limiter is off in park is if you're nice and warmed up and you pull up to your friend's house, instead of honking the horn, let's see if that works. Hey, hope I'm not disturbing you.
Yeah. Hey, do you need to talk to him?
Just making some friends.
So that makes some noise. What tune are you on?
I'm on the E85 tune, stage 1.
From Integrated?
From Integrated Engineering.
All right,
So
cool.
putting the video together right now.
Nice. It was loud.
But we just had a little chat with one of the neighbors.
Yeah.
And
He was going out for a jog and he's like, "Hey, you woke us up from our nap."
Yeah. Well, it's launch day for IE's new tune. Stage 1, Stage 2, and TCU all coming out on the same day for the B9 platform. It's pretty exciting. I've actually been fortunate enough to be on the beta tune for a couple of weeks now, and even got the E40 Stage 1 to the track. So I'll show you some of that footage coming up in this video. If you want to hear my thoughts, stick around. First of all, let's talk some of the features. If you can hear in the background, one of the things we've got is crackles. Crackle much? I'm on E85 right now, and it is crackly. It's really fun too. I have had some crackles that sounded like gunshots, frankly, and it's really nice to be able to shut it off in comfort mode if you want. So I would say that, you know, as far as all the different tunes that I've tested, this one is right in line with what I experienced from a crackle perspective from Unitronic, where you got all the crackles when you want them if you put it in dynamic and you're in sport mode. But then when you throw it into just regular comfort mode or drive mode or whatever, then you don't have them. It's really good for if you're creeping by a cop.
Like, there's so much power that it's like,
Jesus.
there's a cop
Right in front of us.
Yeah, 2 cars in front of us.
Go back. Who is that jet making all that noise? Or, you know, just driving through your neighborhood early in the morning. Some of the other features that this tune has that people care about is the auto start stop feature is turned off, which is awesome. And that's a big deal. APR did that one first, and it, you know, that's one of the big features that tune had going for it. So I really enjoy that aspect. Another feature that they had was that's on this tune is they removed the rev limiter. I think they put it all the way up to red line if you're in park or neutral. So if you want to make all kinds of the noises when you are sitting at your car meet and feel like you want to make some noise. I don't know, whatever people do when they sit in stationary and just rev their engine, make YouTube videos or something, you have that option available too. There's a few other options that IE has, like when you buy the cable, you get to obviously switch the fuel mapping. You've got the ability to do data logs. You've got the ability to, you know, if you're doing like I am and running multiple different fuel types, including ethanol, you can pump out the gas that's in your tank. Now, I recommend if you're running the ethanol stuff that you get a ethanol sensor and put it in your fuel system on your engine so that you can tell what mixture you're running, just so you don't, accidentally run your mixture too low or too high or wherever. Now, IE is going to have a stage 1 and stage 2 91 week and a half, and it's great. The biggest pain there is just doing the mixture. I do have the Fuel It ethanol sensor and app on my phone. I'll be doing an install video on that since I have seen nothing, and it was just sort of trial and error for me to get that on my car. I think there was like one picture that somebody took on the Audi Zine forums, and I was able to look at that and how they did it and get through mine. So E40 mixture is the one that I actually was able to take to the track. Now, stage one at this particular point in time of this video has not been put through the paces or added as a part of our tune series officially, because we're doing all those tests on stage 193. Unfortunately, our track is closed for the season. Here in Washington, they close it down early, and I was wondering why until I ran this tune at the track, and we had actually a really good night from a weather perspective. The DA started out kind of high, but rapidly throughout the night kind of came down into the 400, 500, 600s, and that was really good for the car's engine. The challenge though is the temperature started dipping down into the low 60s, and I think even hit the upper 50s by the time we left. And I'm on summer only tires, and they just weren't gripping. I was running 2 files at the time. They were TCU tune files. One was high torque and one was medium. All 4 tires getting chirps off the line. Still getting 60 foot at 1.6, like 1.6 seconds flat, which is excellent. We were hoping to hit the 1.5s, but tire limitations, I think were the issue there. Also affecting some of our overall speeds. I'll show you the drag slip and again some of that footage coming up. But the best quarter mile time we were able to pull that night was a 11.6 at 115 miles an hour, a little over 115.25 or something like that, which is essentially the fastest I've run in this car, and also the and second highest trap speed. I think our Unitronic one had a 115.4, but that was that time was actually an 11.9. 11.95 was the fastest I was able to get on Unitronic. Now, these are unfair comparisons because those were, all the other tunes at the track were stage 193 octane. This was the first time I had run an E40 mix at the track, and again, it wasn't a let's see how fast we can go day. None of my track times have been like go as fast as you want. We've had a full tank of gas every single time. We've had spare tire in the trunk, fully loaded car, nothing prepped or anything like that. Just run it like you drive it every day. And for that matter, we're not doing any launches to pre-warm up the wheels or the tires or anything like that before we're going. I'm going around the water box. I'm getting in the driving up to the light and going when the tree hits green. And I've been really, really impressed with IE. The best well-rounded driving experience I've had from a tune so far. I'm actually on my way to go fill up with some more E85. Now their E85 tune is actually good for E60 to E85. So it's one that's a little bit easier to deal with if you have access to ethanol. The E40 tune is great, but you do have to do a little bit of math to calculate how to get your mixture just right. We were able to nail it both times that I filled up with E40, but the E85 is definitely a much easier deal. You just kind of go up to the pump, you pump what's in the pump, and you get it, and it's good. No fancy calculations, no anything else. It's just you do your thing. So I would say, I've been driving around on the E85. I don't know that there's a huge difference over the E40 other than the mixture. Both tunes feel extremely strong. I haven't actually driven the 93 octane. Again, that's a fuel that I have to kind of mix to get the right octane here, just because we have 92 in Washington. I also haven't run the 91 octane at this point. My impressions today are on the E40 and the E85 tunes. But I have driven E85 Stage 1 from IE, 034, and APR. So from a comparison standpoint, I feel like I've got, you know, a nice level field. I actually, on the E85 tank I'm on now, or a couple of tanks I've been on the last 2 weeks, I did go from 034 E85 to APR E85, then IE E40, and IE E85. So what I can tell you is the IE tune has been the smoothest experience overall. The tune runs smooth, the shift points and the TCU are there, the torque is amazing. There's it launches as hard as you want it to launch. That's fast, dude.
It's pretty fast.
In fact, like I said, so hard that you'll spin the wheels, even on a prepped surface. I've been able to get, I haven't tried it with E85, just straight E85 yet, but I've been able to get a 0 to 60 on the E40 tune of 3.41, and it's fast, and that's a 3.41 with my wheels spinning. It's not the best time that I think I would be able to get with the E40 tune Stage 1 from IE. I think it can do much better in optimal conditions. Now, let me talk a little bit about 0 to 60, quarter mile, and, you know, dynos. These are all highly affected by the weather, the DA, you know, the launch, the drive, everything. And the reality is every time I post one of these videos, I get a lot of questions about what tune is the best, what one's the fastest. You know, you see a bunch of stuff in the Facebook groups or the forums talking about, well, we've got the record or this and that and the other thing. And that's all great. I don't dispute those records. I just think, you know, some of those records are held with like negative 2700 DA. And I saw a pretty big difference in, you know, in DA and its effect on the car from 2700 down to 1800 down to 500. Each one of those increments causing about a tenth of a second difference, sometimes more. And what I've noticed from all of the tunes so far is I'd say probably 200ths of a second on the top end, with everything that I've tested on the track so far, not including IE Stage 1 E40 blend. Now, again, that's not fair because it's an ethanol blend, and that is the fastest time I've had in my car, which was the 11.6. It's pretty good. So, driving this tune, what is that like? It's great. It's smooth on the freeway. If you put it in comfort mode, it's nice and quiet. If you put it in dynamic mode with sport, it's nice and loud. You get the crackles. Let me see if we can do it. Sometimes, like I said before, the crackles are really loud. I've been fortunate enough to be able to be on the beta tune for a couple of weeks now, driving around, you know, some of the twisty roads and doing some spirited pulls. And here's what I love about this tune. I have on a couple of occasions now been able to really take full advantage of the sport differential in my S5, and you can definitely get some oversteer if you want it. This car has torque just on tap whenever you want it. It is very fun to drive. The features are a really good mix, and especially my car, and some others that have some full bolt-ons minus the hybrid turbos. We're gonna start seeing some really fast times on some of the Stage 2 stuff. That's exciting. So I will show you some of the track stuff now. Well, as you may have guessed, we're at the drag strip today, and we're running a beta file for integrated engineering. It's not gonna make it for this track run into our tuner series because it is a beta file. So it's also the last time I'm going to be able to get to the track this year, and I figured I'd just send it. So we're running E40 today, and we also got a new turbo inlet. So we're going to see how everything works out, and I'm hoping for some good times. The DA is pretty good. Temperature is around 66, 67 degrees, so I'm thinking we're going to have some pretty good results. Follow along. Let's see what happens. Well, it's super early in the morning. I'm trying to wrap up the edit on this video and get it posted. Really had a great time beta testing this with IE and doing the review. Getting it to the track was awesome, and I look forward to testing a lot more. I'm gonna cover a little bit about the TCU files here and then wrap up. Thanks for following along. Yeah, that shift.
I can't believe, like, it shifts hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously a totally different transmission than the Golf R.
Yeah.
But the power that it's putting down every single time it shifts is crazy. It feels like you're just gonna lose traction every time.
Yeah.
Just with like how like you just get pushed, like shoved back in your seat.
Yeah.
It's not like it's jerking.
Yeah.
But it's just like that power delivery is immediate.
That's fast, dude.
It's pretty fast.
That's fast, dude.
It's pretty fast.
So, I did want to talk about the trans tunes that you have access to. I'll show a picture of them here, but essentially there's some different ones that affect the available torque on launch. Start off with one that's really similar to what 034's transmission tune is, which is essentially just upping the torque limiter, and then you have all the stock shift points. The tune is exactly the same as it would be from a transmission perspective on stock. You just have that additional torque available to you. And then you have another one that's low torque, low to medium torque boost for the launch, which is if you're running your street tires. And that allows you to get a little bit more grip. And with this tune, I mean, you really need it. And when I say you really need it, I mean, I ran both the high and medium TCU tune, like the beta files, and at the track on a prep surface, and I was spinning the tires on launch. You'll see it in the videos for the drag strip that I took. So a lot of thought and testing and everything went into really optimizing that. But if you're on street tires on the street, you need less torque, or you want less torque than you are if you're on maybe a little bit wider tires, such as myself and some of the other folks that are running different wheel setups with wider tires. And we might have a little bit more grip available to us as far as the rubber goes, depending on the conditions. Then you've got options for race. It's really a race launch, so it's a higher torque available on the launch, and then I think a little bit more aggressive shifting. There's also a street tire one that's a little bit more aggressive, and not just the launch, but also aggressive shifting. And so what that gains you is an optimized shift point, so that when your transmission hits the shift, it's pulling as much torque as it can to help launch you forward into that next gear. And that is, you know, a really big benefit when you're on the track, especially, or when you're really pushing for some of those better times. Now again, some of these are maybe a little updated, and I've really only been running one transmission tune today, and it's the one with the aggressive shift points and the little bit higher torque. And then they have a racing TCU tune for if you're on slicks, right? Getting the most grip that you can reasonably get, and you know, really taking advantage of the amount of torque that you need, and going for trying to hit those like 60 foots of in the 1.5s, and looking to hit, you know, E85 and really get the big trap speeds that you want. And so I'm really looking forward to getting to the track on E85 and testing a bunch of that stuff. The ones that you're going to see today were from E40, and I had a blast. The car went the fastest it's ever gone, and launched incredibly hard, which is always a plus. So that covers kind of my impressions of the trans tunes. I just loaded stage 2 E85 with the crackle on there, and that is the most recent equivalent of the beta tune that I've been running around on. So let's see, if we put it in sport mode, we're making all kinds of racket, and you can definitely hear it. Let's see. And I'm sure if I were to just straight rev it, it would be the same way it was when I went over and roused Adam and his neighbor from their naps. All right, if you stuck with me for this long, you're a saint. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap everything up. It's been really fun testing the tune with IE and their beta files, and then getting into the production files, which are even more smooth than the beta file experience was. And I would highly recommend this tune to anybody. It's a great all-around tune. Go buy it, have fun with it. I look forward to doing a bunch more testing with it, and all the different options that are available. See what the optimal setup is, see how fast we can get the car to go. All right, well, thanks again. Talk to you soon.